Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we check in with Matrick and Park at PlayStation Disc Society for rumors about Crash Bandicoot coming to Switch. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, joined as always by my co-host Mark Mitchell. We're going to be talking about the Nintendo news from the week, including Nintendo courting some third parties for more adult-oriented games. We're going to talk about that crazy Super Mario Odyssey musical commercial and all kinds of other stuff. And then on Tuesday, we're going to be talking about our Nintendo blind spots. But in the meantime, Mark, how you doing?
Good. Thursday.
Thursday? What did I say?
Tuesday.
Oh, it's Tuesday now.
It's Tuesday now.
That's so confusing. Let's start the whole show over. No, just go back, and the last time that I said Tuesday, last 2 times now, 3 times now, insert Thursday.
I get it, though, because it's difficult to tell what's up and what's down with it getting dark outside so early now.
Yeah, let's just go right into the weather report.
I'm not used to it.
It's getting dark early.
Yeah.
Here we are, October, about midway.
Yeah, we're coming to the end of regular time and about to begin daylight savings time. Is that how that works?
I've been practicing daylight savings time for 35 years, and I don't know how it works. We fall back.
We fall back.
Right. So we're going to gain an hour.
Yes.
We're going to time travel.
So is that what constitute the savings?
I don't know. I do not know.
Well, if you know.
Yes, you should write into us or tweet at us on Twitter. We are at NinCart Society, and our email address is nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com. But to speak more broadly to the weather, it's been too hot.
Yeah, it's weirdly hot.
I'm not about it.
Not a fan.
I've got my Mac Weldon shorts back on.
And I keep wearing a hoodie even though it's too warm because I'm trying to will hoodie weather into existence.
You're trying, yeah, and I'm wanting it out of existence.
We need to get on the same side.
Yeah, we do.
It's like a splatfest.
We're divided here. Our guest weather today is Victoria, Canada.
Big ups to Victoria, Canada.
And our listeners there. Though it looks like it's 52 degrees and rainy, and maybe there's a wind advisory, so be careful out there. Mark, what you been playing this week?
This is not a great week as far as me playing games go.
Tell me why.
I just didn't have time. So I played some Super Mario Run.
Yeah.
Because that's a great way to play a little Nintendo on the go. But other than that, I didn't really have much of a chance to play a whole lot. Sadly, the Splatfest passed me by without even a chance to log in.
Yeah, passed me by as well. I did not get to play any of it. I've also been playing Super Mario Run. I'm in area 27, 28.
So you're close to Daisy, right? 'Cause she's in 30.
She's at the end of 30. Yeah. Sarah, once she discovered Remix 10 after listening to our show, started playing it a ton, and the next day was like, "Do you have Daisy yet?" And I was like, "No, she's so far away." And Sarah's like, "Oh, I got Daisy."
Do the levels continually get longer?
No,
okay.
they kind of cap out at 3 level chunks per area. But even still, it takes a long time to get through a whole area.
So have you found yourself trying to get more toads because there's an infinite number of toads now, or are you Remix 10 is your life now?
I'm mostly doing Remix 10. Sometimes I actually find myself very rarely going back to the Toad Rally. I'm either doing the tour to unlock the secret levels, or just doing Remix 10. Yes, a Remix 10 is life. You were right. That's all that is. Also, I beat Mario plus Rabbids this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. I really like that game. That's a good game. And I'd put it down for a while, right at the beginning of World 4, where the game started to really get challenging. And it was nice to just dig back into it, go back and level up the characters a little bit and buy better stuff. and then just like march into the end boss, which was really difficult. Like
Oh yeah.
the end boss was like really tough. I had to play him a couple times and like develop new strategies. And he's got 3 different forms. I won't spoil anything about him, but he's got 3 different forms. And the first time I fought him, I triggered the second form with 1 character alive, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a trial and error process.
Did you ever use the easy option, the easy mode option?
Never.
Or
Nope.
nice.
When I was having too much difficulty to like get through without doing that, I would just go back to earlier levels and do the challenges that you find in them to get more orbs, level up the guys, and usually that's enough to push them forward.
Did you end up basically using just one set team that you would just basically march through every level, or did you find that as the game progressed you needed to switch that up a little bit more?
I've got 4 characters that I use: Mario, Rabid Peach, and Luigi, and that's it. And it's always Mario. Obviously, you can't sub him out. And then any combination of 2 of those other 3, to just fill out the roster. I never really got the hang of using either the Yoshi characters, and regular vanilla Peach isn't super great. And I guess there was a little bit I was using Rabid Luigi, but I don't know, compared to the others. I mean, Rabid Mario, when you've got him properly leveled up, his slide tackle move is dealing over 100 damage, and it's got this big hit radius around him. So if you send him into a crowd of 4 enemies, he'll hit one of them for 100, and the rest of them all take 70 damage.
Whoa.
And then you can chain that together with 2 more slide tackles. So if you've got 3 characters all bunched up together, you can go tackle for 100, the other 2 take 70, and then do that again on each one, so they each end up taking 240 damage. And then he's got that shotgun, which also is an area effect thing. So he's so good at just being a one-man wrecking ball, clearing a path.
Yeah, we were both really positive on this game when we talked about it, I guess about a month ago, maybe a little around then.
Yeah, whenevs.
On one of our Thursday episodes. I was about to say Tuesday. But
yeah, the whole thing's broken, Mark.
One of our Thursday episodes. But not to jump too far ahead.
Well, should we jump ahead?
Sure, yeah.
Jumping ahead to new releases, because one of those new releases is this Tuesday. Today. That one actually is Tuesday. The Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle DLC pack number 1 comes out.
So you have completed this game, you really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Are you in for more? Do you want the DLC?
I'm interested. I kind of want to see what it is, what people are saying about it once it's actually in their hands.
Because it includes a co-op mode.
There's a co-op mode in the game as
current
it is.
Game.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if there are more co-op missions. I haven't done any. So I mean, there's still stuff in the game for me to do. But yeah, at this point, I had such a nice time with it this weekend, and that I think I probably will pick up the DLC pack. We also got news that the second DLC pack will be coming out on January 16th, 2018. Which is, I guess, sooner than I was expecting for whatever reason. That's, pretty soon.
Do you think you'll buy the season pass or just kind of one at a time?
No, I mean, I'll probably just do the season. It's $20. I'll do it. I'll probably do the season pass.
Also coming out today for the 3DS is Etrian Odyssey 5: Beyond the Myth, and then the physical version of NBA 2K18 is being released in stores as well.
So weird. I don't know that I'm ever going to get used to this digital versions of games coming out before physical versions.
Yeah, and I think the same thing is happening with the 2K's next game on Switch, which is or I guess their next sports game on Switch, which is the WWE
Yeah, yeah.
2K18 game. I'm pretty sure that is doing the same sort of digital first, physical later release strategy.
Is it just because it like takes more production time or money to put these games on the cards,
I
or
really
what?
don't know why. I really have no idea why this is like the strategy that they are adopting. I don't
Yeah.
know if they will ever become day and date. I really have no clue.
It's so weird because you would think that that's almost one of those things that like burns the relationship with retailers, right? That like there are kind of two rules of selling games digitally as to not like screw over your retail partners. One is don't sell it earlier digital, and the other is don't sell it cheaper digital. Um, and they're just like, nah, we'll do earlier.
Eh,
We'll do one of them.
I wonder if like Nintendo platforms, digital like buying games digitally has lagged behind adopt. Let me start all over.
Yeah. Okay.
Adoption of digital purchases on
Hmm.
Nintendo platforms has lagged behind the adoption rate on Xbox and PlayStation.
Hmm.
And so I wonder if retailers are not that worried about it on Nintendo platforms because most people still buy,
Interesting.
like the vast majority of people still buy their games physically on Nintendo platform.
That makes sense. I think also like early enough in the Switch's lifespan here, I think people are still able to think of it as like a like toy, or it's like some kind of giftable experience that like you could buy someone a copy of a physical game and give. I mean, that's why we see like a physical release of Cave Story or a Binding of Isaac, right? That those are things that like someone could pick up for you and be like, here, there's like a joy of giving someone a present, and Nintendo seems very tied to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on Thursday, October 19th, we have another day of a lot of eShop releases on the Switch, a lot of indie releases.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Spelunker Party, the Jackbox Party Pack 4, Party Golf, Putty Pals, Elliot Quest, the Count Lucanor,
Sure.
and then is that Jige?
Yeah, it's the word judge, but with a Y in it. I don't know. I don't have any interest in picking up any of these games.
I don't know enough about them. So yes, I'm on that same page. Then on Friday, October 20th, we have Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yeah, on both the Switch and the new 3DS, and the amiibo that come with them, Tiki and Crom. Yeah, I am still. It's going to be a game time decision for me as to whether I'm going to pick that up or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's one that I'm passing on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. These I we'll probably get into it a little bit more on Thursday, but these like Muso type games.
Right, which are the games that are made in the mold of the Dynasty Warriors series. And if you're not familiar with those, they're the Dynasty Warriors were like historically focused like battle games where you're just like a soldier on a battlefield, um, and like an ancient battlefield, right? So there's it's swords and horses and stuff, and like you just sort of run around the battlefield helping to like sway the battle in one way or the other.
Yeah, I feel like what they're really known for is just having waves and waves and hordes of enemies.
Yeah.
Like the number of enemies that they can get on screen is kind of what they're known for.
Right. And as like one heroic dude in a battle, you'll be beating up like 70 enemies at one time. And it's ridiculous and over the top. Um and yeah, so that's what Fire Emblem Warriors is. So I mean, no matter what, it's going to be kind of like that reductive gameplay, right?
Right, which can be fun. Like I don't think they're unfun games, but I usually play them for 20 minutes and that's all I ever want to play ever.
Yeah. Yeah, after 20 minutes, it's like, okay, I've had my fill.
Also, the just a small thing, the Switch eShop added a new games on sale section.
What's in there?
I don't know, two like titles. It's pretty slim pickings at the moment. But presumably the fact that they are creating a section that is highlighting titles on sale, I don't know, presumably that means more titles will be going on sale in the future.
So you're saying Nintendo's definitely fixed their discoverability problem?
No, but it's at least another category
Mm-hmm.
that people can easily filter through.
Yeah. And yeah, they just need to keep at that, as one, two, three, 7 new games come out on Thursday that we're like, they those shuffle those to the back of the bin. All right, Mark, let's get out of the new releases. Now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, today we're going to talk about CDs.
Compact discs.
Compact discs.
Discs that are compact.
Discs that should be larger than they are, right?
Yeah.
That's
the promise of the compact disc.
What predated the compact disc that was like the larger disc?
I assume they were referring to like vinyl records.
But were CDs originally intended for music or for data?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know this either. Okay, so what was the first CD that you remember buying? We'll say music side first.
Okay. I think the first one I bought with my own money there was like a Disney music collection.
Mm-hmm. One of those ones where it's got like the green outline of the mouse ears on the cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what was on that bad boy?
Oh, man, the
remember?
Main Street Electrical Parade.
Yeah.
Maybe some terrible song from Pete's Dragon, a terrible movie.
Mm-hmm. I liked Pete's Dragon as a kid, but I'll concede that it was probably terrible.
Probably something from Fox and the Hound. I don't know. It was a
deep cuts.
Yeah. They had. I mean, I'm sure they had probably stuff from Mary Poppins on there, but they also just had some weird or more eclectic picks, like something from Oliver and Company.
I believe the first CD that I purchased with my own money was Real Big Fish's why? No, not Why Do They Rock So Hard. The one that came out before that. Turn the Radio Off. that was my first record.
Now, you didn't have older siblings or anything to like influence your musical taste.
Well, I
no, you do.
I
right?
have an older sister, but she doesn't listen to music. And my parents weren't really listening to music, so I got a lot of. Oh, I guess we will never.
We'll never know.
Wow, that was that short 433. We were accompanied by the St. Thomas Orchestra. Mark, let's. It was so short. I'm like thrown off. Let's move into the news.
All right. Hot tip from our friends Matrick and Park at the PlayStation Disc Society podcast.
Right.
Keymailer, a company that connects streamers with games publishers and developers, has listed the Crash Bandicoot N Sane Trilogy for the Nintendo Switch. So Crash, of course, I'm pretty sure premiered on PlayStation and is most closely associated with PlayStation, but he had games on Nintendo platforms. He had some games on the N64 and the GameCube. So it wouldn't be unprecedented for him to be on Nintendo. But the whole like exclusivity of this insane collection is...
I don't know how many more of those you get, Mark. I think you can maybe do it one more time.
I'm not the one that named it. I'm just honoring the nomenclature.
There is an accent mark over the N. Insane Trilogy.
Yeah, so it's not really clear what the exclusivity of this collection is, but I guess we've heard rumors of it showing up on Xbox. We've heard rumors of it, I guess, now showing up on Switch. It's sold incredibly well on the PlayStation, apparently. So I guess people really love Crash Bandicoot.
Well, so this collection collects the first 3 games in the series that were all original PlayStation games.
Were all developed by Naughty Dog, I think?
Yeah, they were. And the all of the graphics are redone and the physics for the first game are like updated to be in line with the other two. Um, but I have basically no interest in playing this game.
We
Do you have any kind of affinity for it, or?
we had one of the N64 Crash Bandicoot games. I don't
Mhm.
can't even remember what it was called, and I'm pretty sure we got it was because it was cheap. But I remember playing it for like 45 seconds and just being like, "Oh, this is trash." So I
Yeah.
have no affinity. I have no love for these games. It's one of those things that I genuinely wonder if they were ever good or if people just remember them from when they were kids and so like it anyways.
Yeah, I mean if it is like a nostalgia play, um you and I are the perfect ages for that nostalgia to miss us entirely.
Yeah, that's true.
So if any of our listeners, if this does hit your nostalgia buttons just right, write to us, Nintendo Cartridge Society
At
at
gmail.com.
gmail.com. We would love to hear about it because right now seems totally alien to me, right?
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Don't get it.
I don't get it. The Switch version of Doom, which was previously announced for a non-specific holiday 2017 release window, now has a solid release date of November 10th. That's
Hey,
so soon.
that's very soon.
I guess in my head I was thinking it would be closer to Christmas, like December sometime.
I mean, I think we just need to come to terms with the fact that, you know, it's mid-October. The year's basically over,
Time is passing us by.
right? I miss Christmas already.
Um, but I guess the thing to me that makes this so weird is that this is coming out on November 10th.
Mhm.
LA Noire is coming out on November 14th. And then Skyrim, another big Bethesda Switch port, is
Mhm.
coming out 1 week later on November 17th.
Yeah, so that means that there's like three pretty big third-party kind of mature releases all coming out within the span of a week.
And two of them from Bethesda.
Two from Bethesda and one from Rockstar.
I mean, I guess you're right that as far as like weeks left in the year, there are not that many of them.
Uh-huh.
So if you're trying to get a game out before the major holiday shopping season, you really only have like a handful at this point.
Mhm.
And so I can understand why they would want to launch it in November. It just seems, I guess, for my own personal taste, my wallet is weeping.
Right.
You know, it just like keeps adding up to the amount of stuff because I think I'm gonna get this.
Doom?
I think so.
I think I might get Doom as well.
And have I ever played a Doom game before? No, not really.
I mean, I played Doom on like the PC, but like that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and definitely not, at least for me, like not from start to finish.
Might have been Doom 2.
Speaking of maturity, it sounds like Nintendo has not been shying away from more adult-oriented games on the system. Inti Creates Chief Executive Officer Takuya Uzi told the Wall Street Journal that, quote, "I thought it wouldn't be possible to release such a game for the Switch, but surprisingly, Nintendo gave me positive feedback." He was referring to the upcoming release of Galgun 2, an arcade shooter with strong sexual content.
Yeah, and I mean it's not just sexual content. It's like anime babes that you like shoot their underwear off or something. um, which I remember you and I talking about when it was announced that Galgun was going to be coming to Switch. It seems like a weird fit just because like I've got in my head that like Nintendo is a more like family oriented or like a more family friendly experience, but like with games like Doom and LA Noire coming, like maybe it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they, especially from this and just other things that we've seen and heard, it seems like they are actively trying to broaden
Mm-hmm.
the appeal of the Switch. Because I think you're absolutely right. I think sometimes Nintendo gets pigeonholed as like a kiddie console, and that is because they are focused on family friendly entertainment.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo first party titles for the most part are something that anybody can play. I don't know that they've, outside of maybe one or two exceptions, ever released a game that isn't at the very most teen rated.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Breath of the Wild is rated T, right?
Mhm.
And like the Metroid games are probably rated T, but like everything else is E for everyone, Mark, or E10 plus, as Mario Odyssey is rated.
So, I don't know. I think it's kind of exciting. I think I like the idea. We talk about all the time how we love the Switch so much that
Hmm.
we want every game to be released on the Switch. And it kind of seems like Nintendo is trying to get third parties to kind of like view it that way.
Yeah, and if that's like the last little like barrier for entry of being like no, you can do or say or bludgeon whatever you want in games on our system, then great, let's tear that wall down.
The latest issue of Edge, the UK video game magazine, has given Super Mario Odyssey a 10 out of 10.
Now that is 10 points out of a possible 10 points.
That's right.
That's a perfect score.
Which I think they've given less than 10 of those in their entire
Out of how many?
publication history. Hundreds.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that's a good score for Odyssey. That's the only review that's been posted or published at all thus far. Um, we are currently a week and a half out from Odyssey being released.
Yeah.
When do you think we're gonna start seeing those reviews from other outlets?
I don't know. I don't know when like the embargo drops. I would think in the next week or so.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like Breath of the Wild we knew maybe like the week before. What day of the week was the third? That was a Friday.
Yeah.
So maybe it was like the beginning of the week we knew.
So probably about this time next week,
Yeah, that's exciting.
we'll start seeing some more reviews roll in. Included in the magazine, there's also some more information about the game, including a tease about the enormous number of moons to be collected in the game, uh, being compared to the number of Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild, which, if that comparison is literal, we're talking like 900, almost 1,000.
Yeah, there were 900 Korok seeds, and if there are, because the moons, they're basically this game's version of stars, right? And like what Mario 64 has, 120. Mario Galaxy 2 has double that, like 242. If this has like triple that, that's so much content.
It
Mark.
is so much content. I mean, it's not a direct correlation to the stars in Mario 64, only because we have heard and seen some examples of ways that you can get moons that don't mean like completing a challenging course. Like
Sure.
in New Donk City, there's opportunity for you to like sit down on a park bench or like a bus stop bench next to a man who's sitting there. And when you sit down and sit for a few seconds, he comments to you, "Nobody sits next to me." Like, oh, like people usually don't sit next to me. And so he gives you a moon as like a thank you gift. So, it's not like it's
Sure,
yeah.
right. That they moons flow like water, possibly. But I mean, and it should also be noted that like you don't get kicked out of the level when you collect a moon, which is sort of like a standard Mario thing, right? Of you're in the level, you get to one, and then it kicks you back out to the beginning. This will just be you're out there gathering as many as you can, and there's like 900 of them.
It's pretty crazy that it's so soon
Yeah,
that Mario that we'll get more Mario. But for right now, to tide us over, there's been that crazy new Super Mario Odyssey commercial where he's like
talk
dancing in
about
the
it.
streets.
So this commercial, it's not on TV, right? It's like a 3-minute long commercial. It's basically just like a live action music video taking place in New Donk City for Jump Up Superstar.
For some reason, it really reminded me of like a Michael Jackson music video.
Yeah, well, because like Mario's dancing in the middle. It's like a dark city street. It looks like the Beat It video kind of, right?
Yeah, and he's like jumping around like spreading magic to people like it's like Captain EO or something like that.
Yeah, and like everyone is wearing like suits, right, and like hats.
Yeah.
So like there's a little bit of a Michael Jackson there, and Mario's wearing white gloves. So, but yeah, it's so that trailer or commercial, I guess, has been making the rounds. And
it's of course set to Jump Up Superstar.
And it looks like there's like a everyone but Mario is a real person, right? Like he's the only thing that's animated in this. Um, and man, Mario's so cute. He's so cute, Mark. There's a part of the commercial where he's like playing in a mariachi band to like hide from a crowd that's chasing him down or something.
There's also some
The narrative in there doesn't make any sense. He possesses a dog at one point, and the dog owners are like, ha, ha, ha. Mario just brain hijacked our dog, but ha, ha, ha. But yeah, he's got the sombrero on, and he's just like playing a guitar, and it's adorable. This game's gonna be too cute for me. I don't know how I'm gonna. Anyway, I watched the trailer, the commercial. Cried only a little bit because I was filled with such joy. I really can't wait for this game to just introduce more happiness into my life.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about before that maybe when it was the episode that we did about Yoshi's story, it's like Nintendo has this magical ability to create just the stupidest things,
Yes.
but you're fine, but like you love it.
Yes.
You know, you're like, I'm like watching this commercial, I'm like, this is so enormously stupid, and I can't get enough.
Well,
I want every second of this in my life.
He's just running around, jumping, having a great time. I want to have that great time.
You know, I think part of what it is that it's unironic.
Yeah.
And there's so little of that
Mm-hmm.
right now in culture. Like everything is about irony and being removed.
Yeah,
right? Like
how detached or how like meta you can be about something.
Yeah.
And Mario is like just sincerely about running and jumping. Like, what?
And so it's like shocking. It's like a shock to the system.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much fun.
Related to Jump Up Superstar, that song can be or will be available for download on the Japanese iTunes store on October 20th. No word yet of it coming to the stateside iTunes store.
I almost wonder if that means that it'll show up on like in Japan, at least like the streaming services like Apple Music.
Yeah,
they have it there, or
that
like
makes
Spotify
sense.
Or whatever. Because do I want to listen to Jump Up Superstar? Yeah,
yes,
of
course
I do. Do I want to pay like 99 cents for it?
Probably $1.29.
Probably $1.29. Yeah. I guess I'm just hoping that I can listen to this anytime I want, everywhere I want.
And not pay for it.
No, I'd be paying for it as part of my like Apple Music
I
subscription.
see what you're saying. Not pay extra for it.
I don't want to pay extra for it. Exactly. Man, I'm so excited for that game.
Yeah, me too.
So some Amazon customers are still waiting to have their SNES Classic Edition pre-orders fulfilled. Yes, you thought we were done talking about pre-orders for the SNES Classic Edition.
Never!
We will never be done talking about them. Emails went out to customers last week saying that the shipments had been delayed, obviously, but offered no concrete delivery date. So people who
Amazon.
I know, people who had pre-orders had to like they had to like click a button on the Amazon site confirming that they still wanted the product. Some Amazon treasure trucks have been selling the SNES Classic Editions. So once again, it seems like Amazon is not really playing fair this time.
Yeah, that's pretty crappy.
Luckily, we are beginning to see some restocks roll out.
Mm-hmm.
GameStop had a restock last week. It of course sold out almost immediately, but it did happen. Some other stores, some Walmarts, some Targets have begun to receive new shipments in store. So it seems like they are beginning to trickle out.
But just don't count on Amazon, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
it seems, unless you're lucky enough to get one from a treasure truck to live in a city that has treasure trucks right now.
Yeah, and then pay attention to the treasure truck. Buy it when it's available on the treasure truck, and then go hunt that treasure truck down. Mark talked about his experience with the treasure truck a couple weeks back to get an NES Classic, right?
Yeah, and if you are lucky enough, it's super smooth, but it just seems kind of shady to hold pre-orders and then just kind of keep stringing customers along.
Yeah. You think Amazon like knew what they were doing, or do you think they were just like, Nintendo will give us a bunch of these things, it'll be okay, and then like just took pre-orders? Like, what do you think happened here?
I don't know. That's I guess the cynic in me says that they took pre-orders and then and not with the intention of being able to fill all of them immediately.
Sure,
Like, I think
just
they
wanted
knew
to
they were
get
giving
people, yeah.
their shipments to the treasure trucks. And, like, the people who pre-ordered, it's not like Amazon is holding their money.
Yeah.
So I think Amazon feels less of an obligation to fulfill those orders. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, it's bad. I'm not saying it's a good move, but I think that's kind of where they're operating from.
Yeah. I mean that all tracks.
Uh, so we've talked a lot about how there are a lot of indie games coming to the Switch, and we're
Mhm.
seeing, I don't know, a ton of third party support, but we've been seeing companies like Bethesda and other developers showing interest in bringing their games to the Switch. And this last week, there were a number of interviews that came out where developers talked about the chance of them bringing it to Switch, or what it's like bringing it to Switch, or considering bringing it to Switch. And here's what some of them had to say. Ed Boon was asked if NetherRealms would bring Injustice 2 to Switch, and he said, quote, "Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you can make almost any game there on the Switch. There are inevitable compromises, but you can make some version of Injustice on the Atari 2600. It's not going to be great, but I bet you can make something." End quote. To which I say, okay.
Way to commit, Ed. But he went on to say that, like, obviously they're interested in the platform, but it's just like, what would the game actually be when they you know would port it to the Switch? Who doesn't actually know?
Yeah, he also talked about they would need like a third party to help them
Hmm.
with the Switch, just because it would be another platform to have to support,
Yeah.
and that's difficult to do like all in house.
Yeah, well, and Ed Boon is one of the original designers on the Mortal Kombat series, and is sort of like the face of the series. And now he works mostly on like the design side. And he was saying that even for like the versions that they do now, they have to deliver 3 different versions of the art assets for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. So like, he's like, there are already 3 versions of this we have to do, and like to do another one. I can be sympathetic to that.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know if it feels to me that as obviously as games have become more complex and multi-platform games that we expect platform parity
Yeah.
have become more common, that we are seeing publishers or developers farming out ports to other systems to kind of like developers who have become specialists in doing so.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I think like when you're dealing with the complexity of some of these games, it's impossible to have to expect them to create like 4 different versions. We're even seeing it with like indie games like
Hmm.
like Stardew Valley, that is developed by like a third party contractor whose job it is to
To make
take the
it
game and
work
like
on this
make it
machine.
work
Yeah.
on the Switch.
Yeah. That tracks.
Jonathan Blow, the developer of or creator of like The Witness and Braid, said that he's open to porting both those games to the Switch, but that it's not a priority for them right now. He said, "Quote, we're not doing that right this second. We're a very small studio, and you can tell this iOS port took us a while. We have limited work power to deploy for various things. We just need to know if there would really be a sizable audience there. And we're not sure about that right now. I don't know. If it seems like it would be a potentially successful thing, then we would look at it. We've also been working on this game for a while. We're kind of ready to do new stuff, so it's not high on the priority list, but I'm not saying we won't ever do it."
Also a super soft commitment from Jonathan Blow. I really liked Braid, and played it on PlayStation 3. And if it were to come over to Switch, I would definitely play it again there. And I've been holding out hope that The Witness would come to this thing, because that game looks like it's right up my alley. It's just like a puzzle game with like some environmental puzzles that are like an extrapolation of the like panel puzzles that you do in it. Um, it doesn't sound like he's in any hurry to bring this thing over, but hey man, the market is there. Like, you
Yeah,
can see that there
absolutely.
is. Yeah.
I guess at this point, just because both those games, I mean, what am I saying? I have bought so many old games ported to the Switch. But I feel like
You're gonna buy Doom.
I feel
You're
like
gonna buy Skyrim, Mark.
I know. I feel like I would rather see their next game on
sure.
Switch rather than like bringing Braid over. I mean, this is obviously a topic for a different time, but I feel like Braid was groundbreaking for its time. I wonder how much I haven't played it since the Xbox 360, so like since release.
Yeah, sure.
But I wonder how much I would enjoy returning to it, knowing how it all like plays out and everything.
Yeah,
Because I don't remember the platforming itself being all that.
well, it's never the platforming. It's always the way that like the central mechanic of you manipulating time,
Right.
how that plays into the platforming, I guess, or like just you existing in the space in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't remember the gameplay all that fondly, I guess I should say.
Oh, okay. I love that game. I do remember it very fondly.
Finally, Team Vampire swept this past weekend's North American Splatfest, taking all 3 categories, so it was a clean sweep.
Mark and I again were cowards and did not participate.
But if we had, we would have been on the losing team.
Probably, yes.
Right?
Yes,
Because
I think that's right.
I think we both decided that we were Team Wolfman.
That's right.
No, Werewolf.
Team Lycan.
Wolverine.
Right.
Checking up on the other 2 Splatfests that happened a little while ago. In Japan, Team Endurance ended up taking the event over Team Power. And no surprise, in Europe, the toilet paper roll hanging from the front won 2-1 against hanging from behind.
Mark, what are we talking about?
You know.
What are we doing?
Don't pretend that this isn't important, vital news. If nothing else, I learned that if you're in a household with cats or toddlers, it makes sense to have it behind.
So big ups to everyone who participated.
Especially if you're in
Splatfest.
Victoria, Canada.
That's right. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. You should join us on Thursday, because we are going to be talking about our biggest Nintendo-related blind spots. Games we didn't play, series we're no good at, types of games that we have no interest in.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be good. Remember, please, if you enjoyed the show, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. And if you liked this episode, share it on Facebook and Twitter. That helps us out a bunch. On Twitter, we are at NinCart Society. The Facebook page is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. And our email address, of course, is Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. If you like Mark and Mine's opinions, we do write about comic books on retconpunch.com. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can check out his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thanks for listening.
What's a Creative Podcast Network?